Alrighty, welcome back to another Wisco Fanatics Wednesday. Just want to jump in real quick. If you missed it, last night we gave our linebacker rankings and talked about some of the NFL rule changes. Today is about baseball and basketball. We have all Milwaukee show today, so we have six Milwaukee Brewer games and 4 Milwaukee Bucks games. 2 series for the Brewers. So we're going to start with the Brewers. Normally we kind of go with whoever's the closest to the end of their season, but with the Brewers being on the beginning of their season, we wanted to jump them ahead because we're going to have some conversations about the Bucks to end with today. So let's start with the Brewers, and we'll go from there.
Welcome to another live episode of the Wisco Fanatics Show, where we discuss the Packers, Bucks, Brewers, Badgers football, and basketball from an optimistic perspective. Wisco Fanatics is brought to you by Cardboard Legacy, Wisconsin's most complete sports card shop. Buy, sell, grade and consign all at their location in Oshkosh.
Alrighty, so barely fresh off of the Brewers game ending that started at 12:40 and ended about half an hour ago, thanks to a walk-off hit. But we got to do it. We got to talk about the Yankees series. Connor, welcome back. We got to talk about the Yankees series now. When we get through all 6 of these games, I'm going to give the percentage of how far into the season we are. So let's talk about the Brewers and the Yankees, that series. Brewers-Yankees, game 1, what's up to you?
So we're going to crack open the first one here, the Miller 6-pack this week. I had to say that. I wrote it down on the notebook. I knew we had 6 games, so I was like, I got to say something about beer, man. So we have opening day, right? Everybody's excited at work, thinking about the Brewers game all day. I really like the broadcast setup that they had. I have to get that out too. How they had Joe Buck, and then they had kind of a Yankee central guy and a Brewers central guy. If they consistently do that with all teams, it's going to make it much more watchable on television, in my opinion. So it was awesome. First game, Freddie goes out there, and he gives us 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs. He has 8 Ks, and he gives up 2 home runs in the Little League ballpark of Yankee Stadium. They were solo shots. So as you're watching this, he gives up the 2 home runs, like I said, and it doesn't hurt too bad because there wasn't much on base. In terms of Hudson and the rest of the pitching, Hudson was good. Koenig, a little bit of a rough going, gave up a home run, had a good battle there. Lost the battle. It is what it is. Piamps came in, cleaned it up, and Tyler Alexander had an inning pitched, 1 hit and 1 K. In terms of how the Brewers scored, first of all, got to say something about Churriel. He's the first player to lead off twice in MLB history before his 22nd birthday. So congratulations to him. He didn't have a great day at the office. We're just going to leave that like that.
Actually, let's talk about it.
You want to talk about it?
I do want to talk about it because I did write something down about it because I saw there was a lot of people complaining that he had 5 strikeouts on opening day. Mm-hmm. And right away, the first thing people are doing is freaking out.
Yeah, well, shocker. There's
so much freaking out going on. People just got to get a grip.
Yeah.
I'll just bring the stat now. So we are 6 games into Milwaukee Brewers season. That is 3.7% of the entire season.
Mm-hmm.
To put that into NFL terms, to kind of give you a gauge, that's 37 minutes and 44 seconds of an NFL game. So we are literally halfway through the 3rd quarter of the first game of the NFL season equivalent to a Brewers game. And people are already freaking out.
Shocker.
You are in for a long season if that is how you are going to carry your emotions throughout a baseball season.
Yeah.
Forget the dog days. Forget September. It is April 2nd, and people are freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
It is way too soon.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on the subject of Churriel strikeouts, yes, you don't want to see your leadoff hitter striking out 5 times in a game. Obviously, nobody wants to see that. My take on it is he's a 21-year-old who the baseball looked like a beach ball to him the entire spring because he batted like 500 in spring. He had like a 1,200 OPS through spring. Mm-hmm. You get to opening day, the first day that the games start to count, and I saw it as him swinging at some pitches he probably won't for the rest of the year. And I saw him as trying to be overly aggressive in this game to a fault. Because it led to the 5 strikeouts. But I saw it as him trying to be a tone setter of a guy who had a good spring training, and came into the first game as the first batter trying to set the tone, being aggressive. That's how I interpreted his 5 strikeouts.
Yeah. I mean, so he comes into last year with a lot of pressure, getting the contract, never playing a game. Then he comes into this year after being really good in the postseason, first of all, then being really good in spring training, as you said. And maybe he's feeling like he has to be the man. He gets the leadoff spot. He has the money. Like MLB did a really nice job actually marketing this year, which was pretty crazy for me. But on the graphic of the video that they shared, for everybody going for the title, Churriel was the one that they chose. They could have chose Contreras. They could have chose Yelich. Like there's other guys they could have chosen. They ended up choosing Jackson Churriel, which they should. He's the most marketable guy on our team. He's young. He's a good player. So maybe he was feeling a little bit of that pressure. Kind of the same thing like Peralta was going into last year, right? With Woody out and losing Burns and a lot of weight on his shoulders. And I will say Peralta looked a lot more comfortable this time around, this year being the ace at this very time. And I think the Brewers are going to have 2 aces, but that'll be a discussion when that happens.
I think my favorite part of Freddie Peralta on opening day was the bottom of the 5th. There's 2 guys on and 2 guys out, and Aaron Judge is at the plate. And Freddie Peralta went right at him. Freddie Peralta was not backing down from Aaron Judge. He struck him out with a bunch of 96, 97 mile-an-hour fastballs. And Freddie Peralta in the opening day game had 4 of the top 5 pitch velocities in the game.
His fastball's electric.
14 whiffs.
Damn.
In 5 innings. Gave up 2 runs, had 8 strikeouts, had 1 walk. That's a pretty damn solid start from Freddie Peralta.
He pitched good enough to win. On any other day in any other ballpark, I know for a fact that the first home run would have not been a home run. And
Yankee Stadium is literally the only ballpark that the first one would have been. Do you want to know what the second one?
It was 9, I think.
9. The second one was 9. You want to know what Vinny Capra's home run would have been?
29.
29 out of 30.
I don't remember who the one was. Was it Dodgers?
I don't know if it was the Dodgers. I assumed it was the Red Sox because it wouldn't have cleared the monster.
Oh, that makes more sense. Yeah.
But the other thing, Isaac Collins had a double in the 9th inning. That would have been a home run in 3 out of 30 ballparks.
Yeah.
Connor said Freddie pitched very well with 1 mistake, in my opinion. Should have only had 1 homer given up. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. And the thing with Freddie Peralta in the first game where he got in trouble with those 2 home runs was falling behind in counts.
Yeah.
Getting down 2-0 is a bad spot for Freddie Peralta to be.
Because then they know the fastball's coming.
Right.
Where if it's a 1-1 count or an 0-2 count, he does have a pretty good changeup. That's what makes his fastball a little bit more electric. But then he could give you a changeup, give you a curveball. There's lots of options for Freddie.
Yeah. So Bryce Turang had a sac fly in the 9th inning. That sac fly had an expected batting average of .870.
What?
So 13% of the time, that ball is an out. And that made the game 2-4. Yelich and Churriel both struck out in the 9th inning after that, but I don't think either of them were swinging at bad pitches. No. So I'm not super freaking out after game 1. Anything else you wanted to say on game 1?
No, I wish they would have won, obviously, but it is what it is.
All right, game 2. So there's a lot of stuff here that can be just kind of pushed out the window. So obviously the Brewers lost game 2, 20-9. Now I chose to focus a little bit more on the offense, or the Brewers especially. Looking at just the Brewers in general, the offense was better. Bryce Turang's home run that he hit was the hardest hit ball of his career at 109.8 exit velocity. It was also the second hardest hit of the game. As far as Nestor Cortez goes, I mean, the Yankees jumped on him early. Obviously, he said he didn't feel that he made the right amount of adjustments facing his former team. And the thing that annoyed me, it happened in this game, it happened in Game 3, and it happened in the first game the Brewers lost to the Royals. It seems like when the rails started coming off a little bit, the strike zone got tighter, which felt really annoying. Offensively for the Brewers, every starter except for Joey Ortiz had a hit. Chourio got back on track. He had 2 hits. Garrett Mitchell had 2 hits and was hit by a pitch, so he was on base 3 times. I'm glad he was okay. It was good to see Jackson Chourio using the opposite field. And we can talk about the Yankees bats after we talk about Game 2 and Game 3. So give me your Game 2 thoughts, and then we'll talk Game 3, and then we'll talk about the bats.
Yeah, Nestor Cortez, as you said, didn't have his best start, gave up 5 homers, obviously 3 home runs in the first 3 pitches. And the thing that bothered me, I guess, is how people were kind of getting on him about not wanting to do the media availability. Like, let him have a sec. Like, people have been in those moments.
He literally came back and talked first thing the next day.
Yeah. So that's why it bothered me that people were getting on him. Like, everybody's been in a situation where things get heated. Maybe you get embarrassed. Maybe, whatever it is.
I think there was like a miscommunication too.
That?
I think there was like a miscommunication too, that like they said they didn't need him for something, or somebody from the team told him that they didn't need him for media or something like that.
Oh, okay.
And then he said he was going to do his media like first thing the next morning. So
my thing was more on just the fans and the media kind of getting on him about, not doing his availability and not answering questions. It's like, let the guy take a step away real quick. Let him collect his thoughts, let him digest what just happened, because that's he kind of got ambushed. Like you said, the Yankees got on him early and it didn't get better from there. I feel bad for Thomas making his major league debut. And he gets kind of jumped on. Patrick makes his major league debut and gives up a couple of runs in an inning pitched. But a positive to take away, like you said, with the offense, we had 6 players that had an RBI in this one. So that's a really, really good sign. Yelly, Bowers, Hoskins, Terang, Capra, and Chourio all had RBIs in this one. So you want multiple people in your lineup producing. Runners in scoring position, they went 3 for 16 in this one. Again, we've talked about this plenty of times. I saw people complaining about it, like, oh, they had opportunity to score just as much. Yes, they did. That's a good thing. Take that as a positive, okay? Having 16 attempts with people in scoring position is a good thing. Did they come through today? Not how you wanted them to, but they're going to have more opportunities like that, and they will cash out and they will score big. That's just how this team is built. Yelly was 1 for 3, Hoskins 1 for 2, and Capra 1 for 2. Those are the 3 people that had the hits with runners in scoring position. So good job by those guys. That's pretty much all I had on Game 2. It was just kind of a throw it away.
So I was trying to find what I saw that was about Cortez. Like I said, I really thought there was like some kind of miscommunication that then he was coming back the next day. But, yeah. All right. Not super important, but he came back. He talked to him the next day. He made his comments. So the thing that with Cortez, he had the 5 walks also. 5 of the walks, 3 of them were on 5 pitches. He had 1 4-pitch walk and he had 1 7-pitch walk. So the Yankees were waiting on him, and then so they ambushed him, and then they waited on him. Just kind of a rough go for Cortez facing his former team. Taylor, welcome back. I don't know. And let's go to Game 3. Let's talk about Game 3. We'll talk about the bat thing, and then we'll go to the Royals series. So Game 3, Aaron Savali, you can't throw a 90-mile-an-hour fastball just above the knees to Aaron Judge on a 3-2 pitch.
Nope, can't do that.
Can't do that. The second home run that he gave, he put a 92-mile-an-hour fastball on the bottom inside corner. The perfect place for a left-handed hitter to pull ball.
Yep.
The third home run that he gave up was an 87-mile-an-hour cutter on the upper outer part of the zone to another left-handed hitter. It just got too much of the zone, so that one wasn't quite as bad, but the first 2, just not great locations. And then Savali ended up leaving this game early with, at the time, was called cramps. I think he was diagnosed with a hamstring strain.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to miss 2 starts, but he should need like an extended absence, thankfully, because the Brewers are already missing enough starting pitchers. Which we'll talk about that in a second too. We're going to talk about the roster in a little bit, but
Yep.
Churio, his deep fly out in the first inning, just only kept in the ballpark by wind. It was 107.3 off the bat. It went 399 feet. It would have been a home run in 5 out of 30 ballparks. It was literally just the wind that kept it in. That hit had an expected batting average of 950.
Yeah, he squared that ball up good, which gave me a lot of hope for him in the next coming weeks. Since the Brewers are, what do they play, like 17 games in a row or something like that?
I haven't even looked, but I'm sure there's probably not many off days baked into April.
Yeah.
Give me your thoughts on the game. I have some series as a whole thoughts, and obviously we're going to talk about the roster.
So this one was a good game. It became a really good game after Jake Bauers hit a 2-run homer to make it 5-3. And then, the wheels kind of fell off after that. Koenig had a wild pitch. Judge scored on. And then there was a couple ground out. There was a ground out. And then Goldschmidt hit a single in the 7th. And then there was a sac fly by Bellinger. And Chisholm hit his second homer of the day. So they scored 7 unanswered runs. Like you said about Savale, that was the first thing that I wrote down as well. Is that's the thing. I actually heard this on the radio. Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday or Monday that the Brewers have the slowest starting pitcher velocity right now. Yeah, like fastball velocity, they have the slowest. So they have guys. I mean, you think about Cortez, you think about Savale. Like those are not overpowering guys. Those are guys that have to be tactical, right? And if you're going to have 90 miles an hour and you're going to be hitting the meat of the plate. And then on top of that, you're playing in the Little League ballpark of the Yankees, who have.
If you're going to have the lower velocity, you have to have the better location.
Yeah, and I wrote down that he's not hitting his location.
Yeah, and again, it's all of these guys' first start of the season.
Yeah, and the thing that bothers me about it is people want to blame Peralta, or not Peralta, Contreras. I'm so sorry. I'm thinking about Peralta's start today.
Okay. I was like, what?
No, they want to blame Contreras for calling a bad game when these guys are just missing spots. I mean,
okay. This is directly related to what I have been saying for years about sports fans, and we, as sports fans, we have to move past this. Because it does affect the way that you think in your daily life, even if you don't think it does. We have to move past this scapegoat mentality. That if this one thing or this one person was different, then all of the problems would be solved. It doesn't work like that, especially in team sports.
Yeah.
We have to move on from that. Oh, if Contreras didn't call a bad game, then all of our pitchers would have been better and we would have won. Like, if Jackson Chourio doesn't strike out 5 times, we would have scored more runs and we would have won. We have to get past that scapegoat mentality. It's a team game. You win as a team. You lose as a team. Every single coach will tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a single coach that's going to look at one player and be like, if that guy was better, we win. Now, there's very specific situations. But when you get into those situations, there's always things that could have been done by everybody else who had an effect on it before it gets to that situation.
I agree. 100% agree.
Thank you, Taylor. Anything else you wanted to say on Game 3 before we talk about a couple things as a series as a whole?
I just want to give credit to Bauers and Frelick. Jesus Christ.
You could have let it slide.
I'm gonna say something about Frelick, dude. I love that guy.
We'll talk about him because I have thoughts as well.
He battles, dude. He's just a grinder, man. He goes out there, he battles on defense. He's a Gold Glover out there, and when he's up the bat, dude, you can have he does swing on first pitch a lot because he's a good contact hitter and he's got good speed. He's a left-handed guy, so he's closer to the first base. But every once in a while, dude, he gives you one of those at bats where he's just falling off like 6-7 pitches in a row, and you're like, that guy on the mound has to be furious right now.
Right?
He emptied the goddamn kitchen sink on this guy, and he's not budging. So I love Sal Frelick just because he's a gamer, man.
Yeah. So I saw a lot of people complaining about Sal Frelick batting 5th in the order because guys that don't have power are somehow perceived that they should only lead off or bat 9th. And Taylor said he's surprised Jake's hat's on backwards. The perception that you have to have like some sort of power hitter in the middle of your lineup, I think I don't think it's really necessary. Essentially, what you're hoping for is that you get 3 guys on, your 4th guy hits a home run, and now you're having a second leadoff hitter.
Yeah.
That's essentially what you're doing with the 5 spot, is that he's serving as a second leadoff hitter in the middle of your lineup to get on for more guys.
Well, then on top of it, think about the Brewers' play style, right? Getting on base, stealing bases, causing havoc. Imagine you have Bryce Terang and Yelly on base. Yelly's like by far the best base runner in baseball, and I'm not hearing a discussion from anybody else. And then this guy just hits a slap shot down the right field line. You're feeling pretty good about him batting 5th at that moment in time.
Yep. And yeah, it's like looking at it from, if everybody hits singles and you have Frelick chasing Hoskins, sure, that slows you down a little bit. But again, if Hoskins hits home runs, like he will during the season, just because he hasn't yet doesn't mean he won't. It's essentially, like I said, it's that second leadoff hitter. That's why they call the 4th guy cleanup. So it is an old school mentality, Taylor, and there's a lot of things that the Brewers do that do not fit old school baseball mentality, which I'm okay with. It makes them more fun to watch.
That's fair.
Sal Frelick in this series was on base 7 times, had 5 hits, only struck out twice in the entire series. I'm good with Sal at 5. I like it. He's not going to get home runs, but again, he's going to get on base. He's going to put the ball in play.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about the bats. It's obviously a hot topic of conversation. The Yankees using what they're calling a torpedo bat, shaped more like an eggplant, but it is what it is.
I have so many things I want to say right now. All right. Cleanse yourself.
Connor said he also likes Mitchell's power later in the lineup. I do too. I like Mitchell in like the 7 spot. I think
he's got speed down there too, so I like that as well.
And honestly, like if you want to have Terang lead off, I'm good with that too. But I also like Terang batting 9th because that gives you like 2 leadoff hitters. Like I'm good with that too. And honestly, we have high hopes for all of these guys. They're all gonna bat.
Yeah.
At least 3 times. So everybody's coming up anyways.
Yeah, agreed.
So it moves essentially the hardest part of the bat from the end to about 3 inches off of the end of the bat, and then lowers the handle and makes the harder spot of the bat the part of the bat that makes contact with the ball more. Now, I don't think it's going to be long, but if MLB is going to let people keep using them, everybody should get one.
Yeah.
And if the Brewers just kind of get the guinea pig that gets hit by them, it is what it is. But if the Brewers, I already saw that Rhys Hoskins has an order for some of those bats. Use them until the MLB says you can't.
Yeah.
If they're making a difference. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, so essentially from what I've heard, which is not much, I guess, is that, by moving that down and distributing the weight lower into the bat, it actually ups your bat speed. And the guys who, because you got to think about it, right? The guys who are getting paid are the ones who put up the big OPS numbers. OPS gets you paid. So if you have OPS, you get paid, which is all these guys are really worried about, really. And if you have better bat speed, you're going to hit more home runs. You're going to hit more doubles. So who cares about the strikeout numbers? Nobody looks at that anyways. Nobody cares.
It's pretty much become a generally accepted paradigm.
Yep.
If you want more home runs, you have to accept more strikeouts.
Yeah.
It's literally Jake Bauers. Like you're accepting his strikeouts because he's going to hit dingers.
And you know what they say, man? The chicks dig the long ball. So I had to say that after you talked about home runs. Really how I feel about it is I said this last night. I'm going to say it a little bit cleaner. The Yankees are smart. For the person that works for the Yankees that came up with this is smart. I'm not going to lie to you.
What I read was they hired a dude from MIT, and that's where the idea came from.
Okay, so my statement literally just stands by itself now. He is smart. He went to MIT, so they're brilliant for this. People are going to hate on it because it's the Yankees. I do as well. I hate that we're the guinea pigs. Somebody had to be the freaking guinea pig. There's only 30 teams in MLB. There was a 1 in 30 chance that we were going to be the guinea pig if we were playing the Yankees, right?
1 in 29 if you take the Yankees out.
Yeah, I guess.
I get what you're saying.
But they're smart for coming up with it. If this was the Guardians or the Twins or the Mariners or the Brewers, like, people are probably going, oh my God, they're so innovative. The word choice is going to be different. It is what it is. I don't like that the Yankees are the ones that came up with it because I don't like the Yankees, but
they didn't need any more help.
It technically is not against the rules, so I can't be that upset about it, right?
Yeah, and we'll get to a point where, scoring goes up, and then MLB's like, okay, yeah, can't have that, even though they want scoring to be up. So then they'll deaden the ball, and then the scoring will go back down, and then they'll let them use the bats again, and then they'll juice the ball, and it's
Connor,
it's a different thing, Connor. Like Taylor just said on Facebook that it's an old school mentality. There's a big thing where it's like bats have always been this shape.
Mm-hmm.
And even just the last couple of years, we've started to barely see some different shaped bats. Like Bryce Harang's bat comes to mind, where he's got the big counterweight on the bottom to kind of even the weight of his bat out. We've recently been seeing the axe handle bats that have the bottom of the bat isn't just a circular curve; it's shaped like an axe.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a pretty new thing. Differently shaped bats, that's not a new concept. It's very, very fresh in Major League Baseball.
They're going to have to be careful, man, with what they're allowing these people to do with these bats. But I feel like it's a slippery slope, man. I honestly do.
I think bat shape is kind of a little bit of a Wild West scenario right now.
Yeah.
Like they're going to be doing a lot of math on it, and they're going to be paying Ivy Leaguers to be like, hey, figure out, do some science on this shit and figure out how we can make this better for us.
Yeah. Somebody's going to ask AI.
Yeah. It's going to be like, dude, they're going to be doing all that stuff, and then it's going to be like Channing Tatum in 21 Jump Street, and he's like, I love this science shit. Is this what you guys do all day?
Great movie, dude.
I feel like that's how they're going to do that when they start getting the new bats.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's go to the Royals series. So, again, this is game 1 of the Royals series, and it is another game where it felt like the Brewers fell behind, and then the strike zone got tighter.
Yeah.
And I think Ricky Weeks agreed, and in the top of the 7th, he got himself tossed for arguing the strike zone. Because, like I said, the Brewers are down 9-0. Why is the strike zone getting tighter? Should be getting looser. Should be easier to find strikes on the edges.
Yeah.
So that annoyed me, and I understand that people are not going to like this, but the Brewers right now are just having inning eaters out there in their starting rotation.
Yeah.
We're going to look at the rosters in a minute here, but Elvin Rodriguez and Tyler Alexander, as much as I appreciate them for going out there and eating some innings for us, they are not part of the September plan.
No. Not right now.
If they are, then we're talking about different problems, and the expectations need to change at that point anyways. So we really, really just need to get through April.
Yep. If
the Brewers get through April around 500, I'm good. That's really where I'm at. Just need to tread water through the month of April. I don't have a ton of takeaways from this game, to be honest with you. I have much more from yesterday and today's games. So I don't know if you have a ton you want to say on Monday's game.
So I was really just going to talk about Ricky Weeks, and I was going to talk about how the Brewers are 0-4 for the first time since 2015. That year they went 68-94. So Ricky Weeks, first of all, what's up, Eric? How you doing? Ricky Weeks, first of all, I stand behind you. He's 100% correct for back-to-back victory dances, man. he's 100% correct for the things that he was saying. I don't care what he was saying. I didn't get to hear it, but he's right about that. Now, the thing about the 2015 team, the Brewers were not super good that year. Well, like I said, they went 68-94. That was kind of in our little dark period between making, the 08 and the 11 teams, and then, kind of had a little dark period. So we look at these rosters, right? Yeah. I mean, Gene Segura never turned out to be what he was supposed to. Scooter Gennett. I mean,
37-year-old Aramis Ramirez. I mean,
Braun is probably the only bright spot.
This is like fresh off the trade, Domingo Santana.
Yeah.
I mean, Adam Lind, like, thank you for netting us Freddie Peralta, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're at the point where like this is when the roster is pretty rough. I mean, Logan Schaefer still on the roster, Gerardo Parra, Martin Maldonado. This roster was pretty rough. This is why Ron Renicky got fired like 25 games into the season, and we got Craig Counsell as our manager.
Yeah.
Eric said everything is fine. Yeah, there's a lot of people panicking. Yep. We really don't need to. The pitching, it does not get better.
No.
It's really rough to see. And honestly, the bullpen, not bad. Like the Brewers have always had good bullpens.
Yep.
I mean, the top five at least. But I mean, looking at the starters, Jimmy Nelson, we kind of hoped he would become an ace. He didn't.
Yep.
Kyle Loesch at 36 years old. Matt Garza at 31, Taylor Youngman, who was more of like a quadruple A player, and Mike Fiers, who would also end up going to the Astros in a trade, and Willie Peralta, the namesake that Jake has called Freddie Peralta for about 3 years on this show.
Man, I'm over that, man.
And, I mean, and then you're looking at like how many of these bullpen guys really made it?
Yeah, I mean, think about it.
Like,
and
Zach
the reason
Davies
I'm bringing this
probably the best out of everybody in this bottom section.
I
mean, Jorge Lopez, maybe Brandon Kinsler, who was 30 at the time. I mean, this bullpen outside these top four guys is pretty rough.
It's
not great.
It's not great, no.
So looking at now today's roster, I feel much, much, much better about how this looks. And, I understand the not loving the depth part of it as far as Oliver Dunn, Bowers, Collins are concerned. But, I mean, the guys on the field, I like having Eric Haas as the backup catcher. Other than that, I mean, we're going to see Caleb Durbin at some point this year. Tyler Black, we're going to see at some point this year. But, I mean, these top nine, like, I feel good.
Yeah, I mean, Capra has been, he's been a stud so far in spring training, and right now he looks like a legit player.
He does.
Joey Ortiz was really good last year, and he's making the transition from third base back to his normal spot, shortstop. Looks seamless. Bryce Terang is a platinum glover. Reese Hoskins is a gamer. He's been in a lot of big time playoff games. Hits a lot of home runs. He's the veteran presence, along with Christian Yelich, who is a former MVP. You got guys like Garrett Mitchell, who, if he stays healthy, is a 5-tool player. We've talked about that. Sal Frelick, Gold Glover, Jackson Churio. I mean, that guy could be one of the top 3 faces in Major League Baseball if he puts it all together.
Yeah.
And then the last guy that I'm going to talk about is William Contreras, who was the team MVP last year.
And a Silver Slugger.
I feel so good about this photo compared to the 2015 roster. And for anybody comparing them online, which I've seen a couple of, which is why I really wanted to bring this up, you got to learn ball, is all I'm going to say to you. Because this roster right here, there is zero reason to freak out or be like, oh, my God, the season's over, or this team's not good, or we got to spend money. Relax. Money doesn't equal wins, first of all.
Honestly, I would rather be spending money to extend a lot of these guys than to bring in other people.
Yeah, like Sal and Bryce.
Yep, Sal and Bryce are in front of the mind. Like, I mean, I wouldn't mind extending Ortiz right away, but like Mitchell's going to be due for an extension soon. So, like, I'm down to start giving some of these guys some preemptive extensions so we don't lose them to free agency in 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah, keep this team together for a little while with the pitching that look at this pitching that's right. This is right now, right? And I'm gonna let you say the point that you said earlier so you can get it out there because it was smart.
So the top 4 of this is what it is. We're at a point right now where Freddie Peralta is pitching like an ace. We're going to talk about him in a second from today's game. Eric Agnew said I thought it was funny to see Pablo Reyes as a Yankee. I think he was there last year too, and he played for the Red Sox for a little bit. He's kind of bounced around a little bit, kind of like Gene Segura did.
Yeah,
just kind of bouncing around as a utility guy. So we're at Freddie Peralta and Nestor Cortez. Those are 2 of the planned 5 of our starting rotation. Chad Patrick, I'm happy to see him getting up, and we're going to talk about him in game 2. So we're going to talk about him from last night in just a second here. But Peguero, Brian Hudson, Connor Thomas was a Rule 5 pick, so I understand why he made the roster. Trevor McGill looks like a stud. Abner Uribe is off to a decent start. Yoel Payamps was better last year than people gave him credit for because he had one bad stretch in July. Everybody wanted him gone. But other than that, he was pretty darn good for most of last year. Jared Koenig was a revelation last year. And the biggest part about this, as far as the pitching is concerned, is we are about 4 weeks away from this stack of pitchers looking completely different. Jose Quintana is making starts in AAA. He's going to make 2 more starts, I believe, and then he's up.
Yep.
Brandon Woodruff did a bullpen the other day. He pitched 52 pitches, 51 or 52 pitches. And he is doing 1 more of those, and then they're going to send him to Appleton for rehab starts. Ooh. So maybe get up to a Timber Rattlers game and see Brandon Woodruff pitch. So we are probably 2 to 3 weeks away from Brandon Woodruff pitching in Brewers games, not just ramping up.
Yeah.
And Tobias Myers has been doing some stuff. So it looks like Tobias Myers is still on pace to be back in late April. So a month from today, we are potentially adding Jose Quintana, Brandon Woodruff, and Tobias Myers to this group of pitchers.
Which is going to make the starting pitchers better, but also the relief pitchers better. Yes. And in this photo, we don't even have 3 guys named Logan Henderson, Mizarowski, or Craig Yoho, who are going to be absolute massive tools for the next 5 years for the Milwaukee Brewers. And you got, like you said, Abner Uribe just came back. He was hurt, obviously, the suspension. He had to spend the first 4 games suspended.
Yep.
Abner Uribe and McGill are going to be locked down in the back of this bullpen.
Yeah, and Brian Hudson is great. And Jared Koenig was great. Like, we're good. Yeah. And the last name that I feel that needs to be brought up in this conversation is Aaron Ashby. Aaron Ashby is going to be a factor in this too. Whether he's a guy like Tyler Alexander who's going to kind of bounce back and forth between starting and relieving, which I'm fine with. I like him a little bit more as a reliever because I feel like that lets him be a little bit more under control. But I'm good with moving him back and forth. It looks like, based on the way that the Brewers are kind of moving stuff out, it looks like Tyler Alexander is going to be starting tomorrow. But again, Tyler Alexander, unless things are going very wrong, is not a plan to be starting games for us in September. We need to just get through April.
Can I say my favorite part about this whole graphic is that Jake Bauers is on here?
Yeah, he's got 2 scoreless innings pitched.
Yeah, he does.
All right. So let's go now to game 2 of the Royals series, and let's talk about last night's game.
Yeah, so Patrick did something for the Milwaukee Brewers that hasn't been done yet this year, and he gave us 3 scoreless innings to start this game, which was chef's kiss, man. I mean, obviously, hindsight, we know that they ended up having a shutout for the entire game, but to give us 4 2/3 with everything that they went through the first 4 games, giving up the most runs, tying the Cardinals in like the 40s or whatever the hell it was, 0-4 for the first time since 2015. For Patrick to go out there and give you 4 2/3 of 3-hit baseball, that is big balls stuff, dude. Like that's insane.
It's honestly,
I never thought I would say that.
it's really a testament to him because watching him talk about it, he said he did not feel 100%. He was so nervous the day before that he like literally made himself sick.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude.
But he knew he was planning on making this start because he had over 300 friends and family in attendance.
Damn.
So good for him. Super happy for Chad Patrick to go 4 2/3, 3 hits. Did have 3 walks. Of those 3 walks, 2 of them came with 2 outs, and the third one was an intentional.
Yep.
So I don't think it's a situation where we need to be like, oh, here we go. He comes up to the majors and loses his command. I don't think it's anything like that. I think there was 2 kind of special situations, and obviously 1 intentional walk, and then he had 5 strikeouts too. So I'm good. I'm good with Chad Patrick.
Yeah. Also got to give credit to Jared Koenig. Got a really big out in the 5th inning that kept the game scoreless when the Royals looked like they may be stepping on the doorstep of scoring. Abner Uribe going an inning and a third looked pretty good in my opinion. He ended up getting the win in this one for the Brewers. Had 1 strikeout. Piamps bounced back from his tough outing against the Yankees because it was his first appearance in the Royal Series. Only giving up 1 hit and 1 K. And Trevor McGill, first sighting of Trevor McGill this year, locks it down, 2 Ks. He looked the Brewers. My entire life with the Brewers, it's just like closer for 4 years. See you later. Closer for 4 years. I'll see you later. Closer for 4 years. I'll see you later. Like they don't have to pay a closer.
There was one weird stretch where they were like Trevor Hoffman, Eric Gagne, Francisco Rodriguez. They're like, we're just going to bring in these guys at the end of their careers to give us 1 more year.
Yeah.
But that was early 2010s.
They always have a good closer, bro. I swear they always have a good closer. Like that.
I mean, we had like Knable and Jeffress and Hader and Williams, like John Axford in there. Like,
oh, the mustache, dude. The mustache. That was a vibe. Now we have a different guy with a mustache who's pretty good. Joey Ortiz is pretty good. And that stash is strong. That's a strong mustache, dude.
He went from it's a me, a Joey to like full on past the lips mustache.
Like yeah, you see my Harley over there?
He walks in, you see his detective badge flashing off of his jacket.
He could be a detective in a movie. I could see it. But yeah, Trevor McGill is just going to be tremendous this year. I mean, I picked him to be my reliever of the year for a reason. I think he's going to be tremendous. So, talking about scoring here, Eric Haas got things going. Big Haas hit a home run early in this one. Haas, Hoskins, Capra, and Yelly all had RBIs. Yelly absolutely mashed a baseball.
Yep.
That was one of those ones where
as soon as it hit the bat,
it was, for me, it's one of those ones where the sight and the sound both matched up to what you were seeing and hearing, and you're like, yeah, that's a home run. Like if I didn't see it with my eyes, I just heard him hit it, I'd be like, he hit a home run on that. Like yeah,
once it left the bat, it's just like, yep, that's gone.
Yeah, and I think he knew it too. That was a pretty sweet swing.
Okay, can I interject on that for just a second? Because again, this is another thing that people are complaining about, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Christian Yelich hits a home run and is not in the lineup today.
Oh yeah.
First of all, they're starting against a left-handed starter.
Yep.
So that's first. Second of all, I would bet you $1,000 that it was planned for Christian Yelich to be off today 3 days ago.
Probably.
I would guarantee you that today was a planned off day going against a left-handed starter probably by Sunday or Monday.
Yeah, I can see that.
Once the Royals announced their probable starting pitchers and saw that they were going against a left-handed pitcher, they're probably looking at it and being like, yep, that's the day we're going to give Yelly a day off. Yeah, so it's not like, oh, Yelich hits a home run and then he gets the next day off. Oh, like this was, I guarantee you, decided days ago. Guaranteed. Yeah. It's not like, oh, yep, he hit a home run. Now we're going to take him out of the lineup. That's not what's happening here. So the other thing I wanted to say, it's good to see Abner Uribe coming off his suspension, pitch an inning in a third, get a backwards K to finish the 6th after a 2-out walk and hit by pitch by Koenig. come in, pick him up, and then give a 1-2-3 seventh and really kind of shut down any momentum that the Royals were going to build.
Yep.
Yelich then added that exclamation mark in the bottom of the eighth, and McGill came in, get those 3 outs with 2 strikeouts. The thing that really impressed me about Abner Uribe is to go 4 batters and get a strikeout and only use 13 pitches. That made him available today.
Yeah.
And then the other pitcher that I didn't mention, which I should because there was official news on him yesterday. Nick Mears has also been sent to AAA for a rehab. So we're potentially getting another 98-mile-an-hour fastball throwing pitcher added to the bullpen in about a week or 2.
Hell yeah, dude.
Connor said he came in and pinch hit today, and we need him healthy. Days are good. Days off are good for Yelly, even if it's 5 or 6 innings and DH. And that's the thing. They said they look at it as DH is like a half a day off because you don't have to go out into the field. So he's going to DH more often than not. They're going to put him out in left once in a while just to keep him active.
Mm-hmm.
And then, he's probably going to have like every 5th day or so off.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm good with that. I mean, if we're in a situation where Yelich is playing 130 games, I'm not going to cry that the day that he got off comes after a day he hit a home run. And honestly, I'll give you an alternative perspective. Even if they hadn't decided it until yesterday, maybe Yelich going into last night, knowing that he's got today off, feels a little bit more relaxed at the plate and then hits a dinger.
I'm also going to say he's coming off of back surgery. I don't know if you know, but your back is pretty important to your mobility. So if the plan, and we don't know because we're not in the clubhouse, if the plan is for him to have every 5th day off, I don't give a shit as long as he's playing in September and October. It really doesn't matter to me.
He's playing 80% of the games.
Yeah.
I'm totally fine with that.
I just said
this is 1 out of 6, so you're talking like 83% of the games, 84%.
Yeah, that's fine.
James, welcome back. And Taylor said it's good to see the improvement of control for Uribe, and that's something that they're still trying to rein in with Mizorowski. He has been good so far in AAA. So Connor, will go right to it. People started complaining on Collins hitting 3, and what do you know? Facing a left-handed pitcher, you put a righty in there, his first at-bat, he rips a fucking double. This is crazy, right? So this is crazy. But Pat Murphy, the guy who manages the Brewers, just might know more than we do.
You mean the guy who's like the manager of the year, like the reigning manager of the year?
Yeah, the guy that literally gets paid to make these decisions. He might just know what he's doing. So there's a few things we need to talk about today. I want to save Freddie for last because I would love to end on Freddie.
Hell yeah.
And obviously we'll end on Bryce Terang. So maybe we'll make Freddie second last. 75% of today is about Freddie. But 2 things. We need to discuss the contact play because people don't like it. And I understand not liking it because it doesn't work 100% of the time. Nothing does. If it did, everybody would do it. We had this conversation 20 times last year. If being aggressive worked every time, everybody would do it.
Because literally
you have to pick and choose when you want to be aggressive. You can't be like, oh, I'm so mad that we never score any offense and ruin Freddie's starts and then not want to be aggressive. Like, if you want to be passive, you're going to have to accept you're going to score less.
Yeah.
Not everybody's just walking up and it's not the Looney Tunes thing where Bunny's pitching against the big hitters and they're doing the conga line around the bases. That's not how real baseball works. It's not a softball game where games are ending 20-18.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, watch the umpire cam and look at how hard it actually is to hit a baseball, even if it's going straight.
You want to see something insane? Look up on YouTube about MLB The Show on GOAT mode with the sliders all the way up. And try to play that game on that mode. I promise you're not touching that. I promise you're not touching that.
Yeah,
I do it in real life.
Work at McDonald's or Walmart or something. Yeah. So the contact play. Murphy said it after the game. Kurt Hogue on Twitter was saying the same thing. Bryce Terang is up to bat. He chops one in the infield. and Garrett Mitchell doesn't go. And the Brewers end up with second and third with one out. Churio chops the next one, and Mitchell goes, and he ends out at home. The thing is even if Mitchell runs on the first one and ends up out at home, I trust Terang's speed to still get to second, and you're still standing at second and third with one out.
Yeah.
But if nobody goes at any situation, you're still standing at second and third with two outs. And then you're still betting on needing a hit from somebody.
Yep. You still need a hit with two outs, especially.
Exactly. So, like, if the ball's in play, like, put pressure on the defense. Again, This is a conversation we had like 20 times last year.
Mm-hmm.
Put pressure on the defense.
Yeah, you got to force them to make a play.
You force an errant throw in that situation, you're scoring twice, not just once.
Let's just talk about last year real quick. There was who the heck was that outfielder for the Rockies? Who threw a couple darts back-to-back games, whatever his name was. I'll find it after this. But my point is, you got, like you're saying, you got to force the defense to play defense, right? Is essentially what I think you're saying, right? Putting pressure on them, forcing them to make plays. We forced that guy to make plays, and to his credit, he made back-to-back plays on back-to-back days. What's his name?
Nolan Jones.
That's who it was. He threw 2 darts. Good for him. But you know what? If he goes 1 for 2 in those situations, the Brewers are scoring runs, and they're probably winning those games. So it is what it is.
Yeah, it's you have to choose. It's a strategy.
Yeah.
Again, like, you can't sit here and be like, oh, all the Brewers batting averages suck, and then sit there and go, yeah, we need them to get a bunch of hits.
Right.
Like, again, Major League Baseball, you're talking about guys that are considered great at what they do, make outs 7 out of 10 times. The great ones. And you're talking about the good ones, the decent ones, are going to get out 75 out of 100 times.
I'm telling you right now, if only 3 out of every 10 doors that I painted at my job were good, my boss would not be happy with me.
Exactly. So it's a thing where if you have guys on base and the ball is in play, put pressure on the defense. If you get them to make mistakes, it's only going to increase the amount of runs that you score.
Yep.
Dorian said Freddie pitched great. We the boys hitting again. Great game. This was a great game. That's the other part of this. So I'm going to put this up on here because, again, this is so annoying that it's what we're doing here. We get Freddie Peralta. So, right, Freddie Peralta pitches a gem. And the Brewers tweet a masterclass from our ace.
Mm-hmm.
And whining about the offense and no run support. Some things never change. And the bats didn't show. And this dude whining about the offense. Your offense didn't do much to help him. Can't waste it by stranding guys. This team, too bad this team sucks and it's wasted. Score runs, bums.
Look at that guy's name, bro. What are we doing here?
Then you got us. Cole Reagans is a good pitcher. Wild concept, I understand, but Cole Reagans is good.
What did he finish in Cy Young last year? Like 5th or 7th or something like that?
I think he might have been higher than that, but he's like on the Cy Young watch already this year.
Yeah, he's
Cole
really
Reagans
good.
he's a legit ace.
Yeah.
So that's that. Now we can talk about Freddie Peralta versus Cole Reagans because today Freddie Peralta was the better one.
He was.
Freddie Peralta pitched 8 innings. I loved that Murphy gave him the 8th. He had 85 pitches through 7. Finished the game with 97 pitches through 8 innings. Had 8 strikeouts. Only gave up 1 earned run. Only 2 hits. And I felt like most of the hits that the Royals had this game were just inches away from being outs. Like the hit that was in the 10th inning just snuck under Vinny Capra's glove. The hit in the 11th inning, or maybe it was the 9th and then the 10th. Jake Bowers knocked it down. Like, again, if that ball ends up in his glove instead of just glancing off of it, you're talking about outs instead of hits. Connor said, it's baseball season when fans are complaining. We've been dealing with it all through basketball season.
Dude, I know that I am alive if I see people complaining.
We're gonna talk about some basketball ones in a little bit too, Connor, when we get there. And Eric said the responses on Twitter and Facebook are amazing. I've been mass leaving Facebook groups just because it's people that don't know ball and would rather complain than learn sports. Hey, there it is. Same thing. Eric said, honestly feel there's a lack of general understanding of baseball with a good portion of our fan base. And this is a conversation that we're going to have with somebody when it comes to basketball in a little bit. But again, the thing is when we're going to call some things out here. And when we see people complaining, we're going to call some people out. And some people are not going to like it. But the thing is the fact that all of these people are complaining on the Brewers, we are Brewers fans. So we are peers with these people because we share a common interest being the Brewers or being the Bucks. Those are the conversations we're going to have today. That is why we feel the need to call out this shitty behavior, because it reflects on us as Brewers fans. So it's one of those things where you are representing all of us with your shitty attitude. Connor said the offense against a good pitcher scoring one run does not mean the amazing start from our ace is wasted. And that's exactly the thing. Is like on a post talking about Freddie Peralta pitching a masterclass, it should be good job, Freddie. Not, oh, look at all the things that we lacked. It's the wrong perspective.
It really is
on the situation. Yeah, and James said the same thing. I know you guys said this. There's very few things in life you could do something well 3 out of 10 times and be considered great. Steve said Freddie Maddox, and he was great. He retired 19 straight batters at one point. He had 19 whiffs. So 19 whiffs out of 97 pitches. That means 19.6% of his pitches were swung and missed at.
He had the fastball going really good early.
And Murphy talked about it, that he's not like primarily pitching with his fastball, but he works everything off of it. And it's good to see him getting ahead in counts and not being in like 2-0 counts where you know that the fastball is coming, but being able to mix up all of the off-speed stuff that he has with the fastball on top of it. Eric said there's a podcast that comes out daily that does this same thing, and he is a, quote, journalist. If it's the same one that I'm thinking of, God, I hope not. But it very well might be. There's one that I stopped listening to after they changed host because the new host was awful.
That is 100% who he's talking about.
I have a feeling it's the same one. But again, comparing Freddie Peralta to Cole Reagans, who also threw 97 pitches, and Cole Reagans is a legit ace, threw 97 pitches. He only got through 5 innings. He gave up 5 hits. That's 3 more than Freddie Peralta gave up in 8. He had 10 strikeouts. That's 2 more than Freddie. So that's all right. Credit to him. And had 2 walks. That's 2 more than Freddie. Freddie Peralta had 0 walks in 8 innings today.
Damn.
Freddie Peralta was fantastic. And you're choosing to focus on what we lack instead of what we got that's good. It really should be, instead of going, oh, the offense didn't do shit. It really needs to be, thank you, Freddie Peralta, for keeping us in this game for 8 innings. It's a gratitude attitude. That's where it's at.
That was pretty good. That's pretty good.
So again, Freddie Peralta pitched 3 more innings in the same number of pitches, gave up 3 fewer hits, the same number of runs, 2 fewer walks, did have 2 fewer strikeouts. But that's a credit to the Brewers offense too. They made the ace throw 97 pitches to get through 5 innings. So Eric said I have a segment based on stupid contradicting things. He says, if it's the same guy that I'm thinking of, that's excellent, and I can't wait to hear that. James said the crazy thing is baseball is 162 games. Trust and believe that the sky is nowhere near falling. I'm going to give the same perspective that I just gave when we talked about the first game. Today was the Brewers' 6th game. 6 games is 3.7% of the season. In NFL terms, that is 37 minutes and 44 seconds of one game. So this 6-game stretch that the Brewers are 2-4 in is like being halfway through the 3rd quarter of the first game of the NFL season. That's what it equates to. Connor said, for me, it was good to see back-to-back days called behind the plate. Seems we have advantage of releasing our starter with Haas and Contreras. I liked the pairing of Chad Patrick and Eric Haas. They both spent a lot of time in AAA last year, so they were familiar with each other. So I liked that they paired Haas and Chad Patrick. I think that was a good idea. Dan, welcome back. Jake, what did you think? Anything you wanted to say on today's game before we talk about the man of the hour?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about Connor's first comment here. I'm going to put it up on here. The offense against a good pitcher scoring 1 run. Oh, that's not the one I'm talking about, but that is – oh, no, that is the one I was talking about. I was reading something else. It doesn't mean it's wasted. For me, it means that it was needed, like necessary. Like you said, like thank you for having this great start. Also, Freddie is – and, you know, Rock talks about this all the time when I'm watching the Brewers games, and he does a really nice job giving perspective to Brewers fans as well. But the thing that he says is every 5th day, Freddie Peralta takes the baseball, and he goes out on the mound, and he throws a shit ton of fastballs, and he gets you at least through 5.
Yeah. So
you're telling me every 5th day you're guaranteed to get 5 innings out of somebody. And then today, he gives you 8 innings of 2 hit and 1 earned run, 8 K, 0 walks. And the first thought, I'm telling you, I'm going to really have to hold back my cursing when we talk about the Bucks, too, because I was getting fired up the last few days. If the first thought in your head is this team doesn't know how to score runs, I got to tell you, man, you need a perspective switch in your daily life.
It's so true. It's seriously, it's a perspective of lack. That's what psychologists call it, is a perception of lack, where the only thing you can focus on is what you don't have.
Yeah.
James, I will not be talking about soccer. Sorry. Not happening.
Yeah, you know, I listen to this really smart rich guy who tells me how to like build my business, and he says to talk about things that you know. Soccer's not one of those things.
I would like to talk about hockey, but we can level on that, James. But let's talk about extra innings today. So again, I'm going to put a Dominic Cotroneo tweet up here about extra innings. So the Brewers get bases loaded in the 10th inning with nobody out.
Yep.
So the game gets tied, and Sal Frelick gets up with the bases loaded, and he hits a liner directly at the second base. Made good contact. Nothing there. Jake Bauers took a strikeout looking. That one's a little bit harder to swallow. Jake, you're here to swing at the bat. You know,
you are.
Swing the bat.
Yep.
And Capra popped up. It's tough. So naturally, complaining every year, the same stuff. Swing the bat, pathetic, second and third, no outs, and bases loaded, no outs, and then you get this shit.
I bet you none of those people know that Jake Bauers is one of the best pinch hitters in baseball last year.
Is a bases loaded, no out situation where they don't score really worth this much stress to you? I get being a fan. Obviously, I get being a fan. Started a podcast. All this shit behind me. The GOAT,
sure.
RIP, his autograph is hanging on the wall behind me. But fucking seriously? Banging your head on the door? Over Game 6? Game 6. We are not even 4% into the season.
Yeah.
Now, we get to the 11th. Garrett Mitchell has a ground out that gets Oliver down to third base.
Mm-hmm.
Joey Ortiz draws a walk. And I'm a little bit surprised they didn't intentionally walk him. I thought maybe they were just seeing if he was going to swing at some bad pitches. And then Bryce Terang gets the green light from Pat Murphy that if the lineup of the defense looks good and you get a breaking pitch, Pat Murphy was specific to say if you get a breaking ball, because a fastball would probably produce a harder bounce, making it easier to field and throw home. On a breaking ball, you can make softer contact. And he did. Perfectly placed bunt that the pitcher, even if he had tried to throw home, which he should have, I'm surprised that he didn't, turned to throw to first bases if there was 2 outs and that was going to end the inning. Wouldn't have got Terang at first. Wouldn't have got Dunn at home. Wouldn't have got Ortiz at second. Just a beautiful bunt put down by Bryce Turang.
Yep.
Connor said also the Brewers were good last year with runners in scoring position, top 10, I believe. I can pull up the exact numbers while Jake gives his thoughts on extra innings.
Also, they were also good with 2-out hitting last year. I believe they were top 10 in 2-out hitting as well. So just give it time. This team's going to come together. It's pretty much the same roster, honestly. So let Yelly get healthy. Let Contreras get going here. That's a guy who hasn't got going at all. Once he gets going and Churios looks like he's starting to see the ball a little bit.
I need to say something about Contreras, too, also at some point.
I'll let you go in a second here. So obviously we've been talking about Peralta quite a bit. We talked about McGill, Uribe again, Koenig again. The thing about Turang is he's been working on the bunting for the last couple of years, and he's getting pretty damn good at it. So on top of him having the game-winning bunt in the 11th, he also was one that scored the run off the Churio double to tie the game. So Turang coming through in multiple ways for the Brewers today. Jackson Churio coming through multiple times for the Brewers today. Got his first homer of the year, so he's got that monkey off his back. Doesn't have to worry about hitting the first homer of the year anymore. He can just go up there and swing. And he had a couple doubles in this series versus the Royals. So it's nice to see him hitting the ball hard again, especially after people were really ragging on him after the 5 strikeout opening day. But, you know, this is – and I wanted to say this as a perspective thing. Now, you look at the score sheet of the 11-1 loss in game 1 of this series, and you might think to yourself, what good can come out of this game? Well, Jackson Churio seeing the ball a little bit better, something that you could take away from it, because he, like I said, he did hit a double, and it was a 2-out double, by the way, that ended up scoring a run. So him seeing the ball better is a good thing for this team because it's going to trickle down, obviously, through the rest of the lineup with him being the leadoff. So had to get that out there and give him credit. So Jackson Churio being good, Bryce Turang being good. Turang's been started this season off on fire, dude. He's looking really good. Like, if there's a year that this guy's gonna make an all-star team, it's got to be this year.
I mean, there's some really good second basemen in the National League, so it's tough. But I hear you.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be one of the best. He's got the name. I thought last year he didn't get it because of the name recognition, but him getting the platinum glove might be enough for enough fans to kind of know him. And with him starting the year off hot, if he stays hot for a couple months here, that could be enough for him to get some votes. Obviously, you need to win, so the Brewers need to win some games here, and him kind of be the catalyst. But this is a good start. I want him to make an all-star team, man. I think he deserves it.
So, Connor, you brought it up, and Jake brought up 2 outs. So, in scoring position, the Brewers last year were 5th in batting average.
Yeah.
So, literally top 5 offense in scoring position. And Jake brought up 2 outs. The Brewers were 12th in batting average with 2 outs last year.
12, okay.
So,
well, total runs scored, then they must have been up there because I know it was.
So,
I think it was them and the Guardians who were kind of battling for that most runs scored with 2 outs.
I can pull up the runs, 2 outs, runs. It doesn't tell me runs. I got to go to RBI. They were second, only to the Dodgers. The Dodgers had 316. The Brewers had 314 with 2 outs.
We were close. Okay.
So literally kept pace with the Dodgers when it comes to 2-out runs batted in. So it's people are too easily forgetting that 2024 was a great year for the Brewers offense because 2023, 2022, 2021, 2020 were kind of rough offensive years. Kind of said Churio and Yelich are heating up. Hoskins in the bottom of the lineup is good as well. I think there's some opportunity there for some of those guys, but I'm not at any level of concern right now. Like if somebody were to ask me what my concern level is with anything on the Brewers, it's 1. It's literally the lowest that it could be. And the last thing I'm going to say is on Contreras. They were talking about it a little bit last night, the way that he's standing at the plate. I need to look closer, but I think he might have changed his stance a little bit. It looks like he's standing a little bit closer to the plate and that his back foot, his right foot, is a little bit farther forward, and he's standing a little bit more square and a little bit closer to the plate this season than he was last year. I don't know this for certain, but based on the way they were talking last night and obviously the slow start to the season, it does make me think like maybe there's a difference there. So Looking at the Brewers' schedule coming up, tomorrow they start a 4-game series with the Cincinnati Reds. So Christian Yelich should have a cycle someday in the next 4 days. And then they start a series against the Rockies in Colorado. So I'm glad we're playing that game early in the season before it gets warm and the ball's just flying like crazy.
Yeah.
So next week we will have 5 Brewer games. We'll have the 4 against the Reds, and we will have 1 game against the Rockies. Anything else that you want to say on the Brewers?
No, they're going to be just fine.
Connor said it seems like he's also loading earlier with the toe tap. I'm going to just have to pull some footage, take some screenshots, and see if I notice anything different there. All right. Well, then, let's switch to the Bucks. And, we're going to have some conversations here. And the Bucks were still on their West Coast road trip as of last Wednesday. They played 1 game in Denver, and then they came home. The annoying thing about the Denver game is that originally the reports were that Jokic and Aaron Gordon were going to be out, so the Bucks were sitting Giannis. Yep. And then the Nuggets are like, nope, everybody's playing.
Yep.
And it just kind of becomes one of those like, all right, let's just see what happens kind of games.
Yep.
So give me your thoughts, Bucks Nuggets from last Wednesday.
Yeah, like you said, I kind of went into this one after seeing that. I had the same thought of when Javon Carter went crazy and had 36 against OKC a couple of years ago, where I was like, I guess we're going to need one of those games. You never know. But I thought they played, and this is going to sound crazy to start this week after the 2 games that followed this. I thought they played inspired basketball, honestly. They were moving the ball pretty well. Everybody was shooting it. Everybody was scoring. Torrey Prince had 15. Kuzma kind of struggled from the field. But Brook Lopez had 26 points, 20 in the first half. He was really taking it to Jokic, in my opinion. He was balling in the first game that they played where the Bucks ended up winning in Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. But he sees where Jokic is lazy, and Brook Lopez is a smart player. Like, let's not get it twisted. I think you were the one that brought it up last week where we don't give enough credit for his basketball IQ. I think we're going to start doing that now.
Oh, we're going to do it today. Today I got video evidence, so we're doing it.
Oh, we're going to talk more about Brook Lopez.
Oh, yeah, we are.
But 12 of 17, 26 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists is nothing to scoff at.
4 assists. He had 4 assists.
Oh, 4 assists.
And 2 blocks.
I must have wrote that down wrong. My bad.
Give that big man all his assists.
I'm going to give him 4 assists here. I had the 2 blocks written down as well. Gary Trent Jr. got the start in this one. 4 of 11 from downtown, which is actually a pretty good percentage. It's decent. Kevin Porter Jr., he needs to just slow down.
Honestly, my thoughts on Kevin Porter Jr. are the same thoughts that I had for Ryan Rollins in this game and even Pat Connaughton in this game. Get downhill.
Yeah.
I criticized Badgers opponents for doing this, and I've criticized Bucks opponents for doing this. When you get a big man switched on you, don't settle for a goddamn 3-pointer.
I feel like everybody does that.
I hate that shit.
Yeah,
I get it if you can cross somebody over and get a wide open look like some Steph Curry stuff that he does. But settling for a step back jump shot over a taller guy, like you can get that shot against a regular guard.
Yeah.
And he won't have as high of a contest.
Yeah.
When you get a big guy on you, that means your big guy has a small guy on him. Get the ball in the goddamn post or go by the big guy and go downhill. All 3 of them were good going downhill. Go downhill. Stop settling for jump shots with taller players guarding you.
I actually saw it a few times where Brook Lopez had smaller defenders on him while he was on fire, and I'm like, bro, throw it down.
It's been a problem all 4 games this week. Like,
yeah.
Get the ball to the big guy, especially when he's got smaller guys on him.
Yeah, yeah. But it's pretty I think it's sad, to be honest, that it took Jokic having 39, 10, and 10 to beat the Bucks without Dame, Giannis, Bobby, and Sims.
Yeah.
That's sad to me.
Yeah.
It took you almost a 40-point triple-double, which we got to have a conversation on these triple-doubles, dude.
I didn't even realize that when he had his 61-point triple-double that he had literally 61, 10, and 10.
Yeah.
I was expecting to see like 61, like 20 rebounds and like 14 assists.
And, I've seen so many of these damn videos now where the 10th assist that he got in this game was absolute trash. He's dribbling from the top of the key. He goes down to the block, gets double teamed, throws the ball out to Murray. Murray catches the ball, pump fakes, dribbles left-handed, takes 2 dribbles, and finishes with his left hand over 2 other human beings. And Jokic gets an assist for that, dude.
It's 2 dribbles. That's the rule.
He made a pump fake though.
It's 2 dribbles. That's the rule.
No, that's garbage.
That pass did nothing to set Murray up for the shot, but
he made the whole play.
He caught the ball and took 2 dribbles. That's the rule.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's annoying as shit, isn't it?
Every time I see him with 10 assists now, I'm like, he probably really had like 7 assists, but it's fine.
Yeah. And then some good plays by his teammates.
I'm gonna let him live with the triple.
But it's funny because they lost, and seeing videos of Russell Westbrook like missing wide open layups and stuff is funny to me.
I like
Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
But seeing that is funny.
What I saw that I thought was funny was the Denver fans having a meltdown. But like, I've never flipped on a player so fast in my life. Like, damn, bro, Westbrook just has that effect on people, bro.
He really does.
I feel bad for the guy, but he also has I don't give a shit attitude, so it doesn't really affect him. So, more focus on this game here. I do want to give credit to Ryan Rollins. He was really good in this game. 17 points, rebound, 3 assists, very efficient, 7 of 9. I have his stats for the week put together after we get through last night's game because he was really, really good. He's got one thing that he's got to work on, and that's just he kind of has the Bobby Portis effect where the ball gets a little sticky at times. Where when he is cooking and he is scoring on offense, I think he leans into that too much. Like, bro, I understand you're feeling yourself. You're an NBA player. That's great. I'm just a random chunky white dude sitting in my basement. But, like, bro, I'm telling you, if you just swing that motherfucker one time,
that thing moving.
You swing that motherfucker one time, bro, I promise you're going to be so happy with what happens.
And it's going to come back to you. Like, when we get to last night's game, we're going to have the conversation. The ball's going to come back to you.
Yep, it is.
And it's a frustrating thing dealing with it as watching games. It's a really frustrating thing dealing with it as playing games. Mm-hmm. Is people have this fear that if they pass the ball that they're never going to get it back.
You're going to get it back. There's a lot of
You're going to get it back. Like, just move the ball.
I agree.
So the Bucks were 16 to 37 on threes. They were 43.2%. That's very good. It kept them in it, honestly.
Yeah.
And this is something that I think it's possibly going to affect them in the playoffs. Obviously, I'm hoping that we're more healthy in the playoffs, but it's happened in other games as well, where I feel that some of the threes that they're missing are just the ones that can kind of like be the drop of water that overflows the cup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
the daggers, the ones that, you know, when you're going on a run to cut into some leads that would start making the other team feel real nervous. Like those types of threes, the big momentum getter ones, I feel like those are the ones where they're kind of missing, where it's like, dude, we're 1-3 from blowing the top off, and then they miss that one.
Were like, you foreshadowing the last night?
It's happened in a bunch of games this season, so I can't even say that it's just a one-time thing. Yeah. It's really something I've noticed several times this year.
Yeah.
Only 11 turnovers. That's not bad. 4 of them by Kevin Porter Jr. Like you said, he's got to slow down, play a little bit more under control. And the Nuggets turned those 11 turnovers into 18 points off turnovers. And to their credit, they are one of the best fast break teams in the NBA. So that's just really one of those things where you got to be on your P's and Q's and taking care of the ball, because they will get out and go.
Dude, if there's a goddamn Sandbagger of the Year award, it goes to Christian Braun, dude. That guy is the Sandbagger of the fucking century, bro. His play style is annoying as hell to me.
And he just leaks out.
Yeah, dude. Every time, bro. Like he's literally like a real-life 2K player, bro. Like, so annoying.
Right. It was interesting to see Doc Rivers getting heated at the refs. Dude, he was animated. He was getting in refs' faces, was pissed for AJ Green getting knocked down in transition, and nothing.
No call.
Jokic gets touched and it's a foul. So that was annoying.
Yeah.
The big thing with this game, the Bucks missed Giannis on the weak side. It made for a lot of easy back cuts for the Nuggets, and it allowed them to get a lot of weak side offensive rebounds.
Yeah.
That to me was the biggest thing without Giannis. The last thing I want to say in the Nuggets game, efficient minutes from Pat Connaughton.
Yeah.
Like, he really is the Swiss Army knife dude that can come in and play 10, 15, 20 minutes. Obviously, the Bucks are a little depleted, so they need him. But 16 minutes, he had 6 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, a block, and no turnovers. Yeah. Why is Pat Connaughton playing? Please just learn basketball. I get that you don't like that he plays to run guys off the three-point line and force them to drive towards our all-NBA defense center, but he's going to keep playing when we're shorthanded.
Yep.
All right. Let's go to Friday's game against the Knicks. I do not have a ton of takeaways from this one. Steve said, damn, 8 rebounds in 16 minutes. Yep. Dude gives energy.
I have a thought on Pat, but it's not for this game. It's for the next game that we play. So talking about the Knicks game, Giannis was good. Kuzma was really good. Giannis always good, 39-7. Kuzma was pretty good in this one, 8 of 16 from the field, 1 of 5 from 3. That's pretty average for him. If he makes 2 of 5, then he's having a very good game. Gary Trent Jr. was pretty good. Kevin Porter, he is such a hot and cold player, dude. There's a reason that he's a bench player, because he is talented enough to be a starter. But there is a reason he's a bench player, because he's so hot and cold. The consistency bug he did not get.
Yeah.
So that's going to be something to watch for in the playoffs as well. If Dame comes back, which, we're all hoping for, if Dame's able to play in the playoffs, the thing you're going to have to watch is how does Doc manage Ryan Rollins, who's on a heater right now at the right time, and Kevin Porter Jr. I do like their minutes together. I think that's interesting. You have 2 ball handlers. I think it's interesting, honestly, to play them both together.
I don't hate it, because I think it's something that you could do if Dame is back. You can play them together a little bit.
Yeah.
I do agree with starting Rollins and having Kevin Porter Jr. still operating as your 7th man. Because when Dame comes back, that's going to be the role that Porter Jr. still occupies.
Yeah. And the reason
we're very close. I think we're like 3 more games to go yet.
Yep, 3 more games. The reason that I like it is I think Rollins is a little bit better on ball, and I think that Kevin Porter Jr. actually is a little bit better off ball. He doesn't have to. He is a good playmaker.
You mean offensively?
Huh?
You mean offensively?
Yeah, offensively.
Honestly, I would switch that around.
You really think that? You think that? I mean, I know Rollins has been pretty good, with spot up shooting and stuff.
Yeah,
but I don't feel like Rollins has as many careless turnovers.
That is fair.
Which leads to a lot of.
He had a couple bad ones last night, but we'll get to that. Yeah. My thing with Kevin Porter Jr., and I wrote this in my notes from this Knicks game. Get downhill.
Yeah.
That opens up everything. And if you want to settle for jumpers, you get downhill twice, get 2 layups. The guy guarding you is going to take a step farther away from you.
That's true.
It's going to give you more space. It's going to open up everything for you.
Yeah.
You can get a step back anytime you want.
Yep.
If you get downhill 2 times, 3 times, you get a couple layups, they're going to start stepping farther away from you to try to cut that off. That's when you let shots fly.
Yeah. So this little paragraph I wrote is the Bucks couldn't find a way to slow down Bridges in the first half. He finished with 26. OG and Anunoby scored 20 of his 31 in the fourth quarter to kind of put the game away. The Bucks showed some serious mental toughness, being down by as much as 17. They got the lead down to 2 points when it was 67-65 in the third, but the Knicks answered with a 12-1 run.
Yep.
And the Bucks lost the points off turnovers 26-13.
And I have some very specific thoughts on that.
That's the thing that's been hurting them. And if you've watched the Bucks at all this year, their record is like this, right? They've been very wavy. And after last night's win, it kind of feels, and you look at their schedule as well, it kind of feels like they're about to go on one of those runs where they go like 9-1 in a 10-game span, right?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Bobby coming back, hopefully Sims coming back. We're probably gonna have to play the first playoff series without Dame, but if they win that first playoff series and Dame comes back, things get serious, right?
Yeah.
The thing that is going to allow them to win a first-round series is taking care of the goddamn basketball. You
Yeah.
could talk all goddamn day about this guy shoots this guy does this guy does this. When it comes down to is, are you making your shots? You taking care of the ball?
So my thing is, you look at this game, the Bucks had 16 turnovers, right?
Mm-hmm.
4 of them came from Rollins, 3 of them came from Kevin Porter Jr., and 4 of them came from Kyle Kuzma. With Dame not handling the ball as much, those 3 are probably the next 3 that are dribbling more. Obviously, Giannis is going to have the ball in his hands more, but Giannis and those 3 are the guys who are going to handle the ball more. Now, we need those guys playing more under control. I get guys are trying to step up in Dame's absence, but you have to make sure you're not trying to do too much. Not trying to play like outside of your skill set, outside of your role. Like we brought up already, too much dribbling, bad shot selection, like that stuff. You brought up the Knicks outscoring the Bucks 26-13. The Bucks had 16 turnovers. The Knicks had 8. That's 8 extra possessions.
Yeah.
And the Knicks outscored the Bucks 13 points with those 8 extra possessions in a game that they lost by 9.
Yeah, dude. They were in this game at half. Rollins made a big-time 3. What the heck was the score at half? I don't remember. Anyways, keep going.
Steve asked the question, what does taking care of the ball look like? Less than 12 turnovers. I'm fine anywhere like 11 to 13, so around 12. In college, if you're around 9 or 10, that's fine. In the NBA, if you're around 11 to 13, that's fine. If you're having a game where the ball is moving a lot more and you have a game where you assist like 31 assists on 45 made field goals and you have like 15, I'm not going to like have a big conniption about it as long as the ball is moving well and, you know, you're making more passes and you get a couple turnovers just trying to make the extra pass. But if they're in that like 11 to 13 range, like that's fine. 16 is too many.
Yeah.
And the 3-point shooting, they were 13 to 33. That's 39.4%. Again, it's not that I need them to make, you know, a huge higher percentage.
Mm-hmm.
I just need them to hit some of the big swing threes. The ones that, like, again, the Knicks had a big lead. If the Bucks hit some of those wide open threes that they get while they're going on their runs, that's going to get a home crowd amped up. That's the momentum. That's how getting the crowd into it. That all builds. It all helps. So I need the Bucks to hit some of those. And if they're saving them for the playoffs and it happens there, I will be the first one to be like, the Bucks are hitting those shots, and I will point it out. I promise you that.
I believe you.
My last thing on this game was, how are people still complaining about Brook Lopez? And then I'm like, oh, they're only looking at the box score totals. So people complaining that Brook had 7 points. He was 3 for 5 from the field and 1 for 2 from the 3-point line. That's 60% and 50%. If anything, get him more shots.
Yeah, I mean,
he only had 38 touches in this game.
Yeah.
And then rebounds. We made a 30-minute video on why Brook Lopez doesn't have high rebound totals. He had 5 rebounds. The NBA website will track rebounding chances. He had 10 rebound chances. And the thing is, that does not count tap outs, which he's been doing a really good job of lately, is getting tap outs on offensive rebounds. Those don't rebounds. So you have to watch the game to actually see that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of the box score and learn ball, please.
Yeah.
So people complained because he had 1 bad pass. Again, we're like, what are we doing here? He had 6 assists as our center.
Yeah.
That's not normal.
No.
I get that people think it is because Jokic is who he is, but there's not a lot of centers out there dishing the ball, slinging the ball around like that.
Mm-mm.
And we're going to talk about a video specifically from the Suns game in a minute here. For a guy that only had 38 touches in the game, he made 3 of his 5 shots that he took and had 6 assists on 38 total touches. For comparison, in this game, Giannis touched the ball 73 times. That's almost double the amount of times that Brook did.
Damn, that's insane.
So he also had 2 blocks, and when guarding Karl Anthony Towns was 1 for 5 from the field.
Mm-hmm.
And the Knicks as a team were 10 of 27 against Brook Lopez. That's 37%. 37% the Knicks shot against Brook Lopez. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
Like, can we please get the whole picture and stop only looking at one total and being like, yep, this guy sucks. Please learn ball before complaining.
That'd be nice.
Connor said it seems like people cherry pick when Brook may have an off night or just box score watch, and that's 100% factual. And Jake and I had this conversation when Chris Middleton got traded. We're like, okay, who's all the Chris Middleton hate going to? And it's going to Damon Brook.
1,000%.
So that's where we're at. So we can go to the Hawks game from Sunday. This game was what it was. The offense was great. The defense was the exact opposite.
I don't have much. I'm gonna say my couple of things, and then we can honestly just move on because that's what I feel like team wanted to.
The 3-point shooting, they were 12 of 35. It's 34%. That's a little bit below their average.
Yep.
14 turnovers is okay. 28 points off turnovers is crazy. That's
terrible.
Crazy work to have double the points off turnovers as you have turnovers.
Yeah.
Generally, if you have a number of turnovers, if you're allowing the same number of points off of them, that's where I'd like to be. So if they have 14 turnovers, if they're giving up like 14 to 20 points, fine. 28 is crazy.
That's sick, dude.
It's to be fair, it's credit to the Hawks offense, and I hate that it's happened like 3 times this season that dudes from the Hawks that don't normally shoot threes well against the Bucks.
Yeah.
It's annoying. But it is what it is. And the 2 big things that I have from this game is the first quarter, the driving kick game was working really well for everybody, not just for Giannis.
Yep.
Then in the third quarter, nothing would go in for the Bucks, and the Hawks are hitting 50% of their threes, including guys that don't even shoot threes well. So that's just kind of what it is type situation, and you just have to move on to the next game. But the last thing I want to say on this game, however you feel about Damian Lillard, we need Damian Lillard.
Yeah.
If the Bucks end up matched up with the Pacers in the first round, they might be okay without him. But in the second round, if we're playing the Knicks, the Cavs, the Celtics, we need Damian Lillard because the Hawks in this game are sending 3 defenders at Giannis.
Yeah, that's
3.
Yeah.
He's still scoring he's still getting his buckets, but we need Dame to keep the offense flowing when Giannis is out and when the offense goes cold. And we need Damian Lillard's gravity on the floor so the teams can't send 3 guys at Giannis.
Bobby will be a really nice boost because he's a guy that can go for 30 points.
Yeah.
He'll gladly take all the open jumpers and he'll cut to
the basket as well.
Yeah, he'll take all that. He will gladly sit in the paint and just take layups.
He'll mix it up.
And the thing about Bobby Portis is he's going to let you fucking know about it when he scores 30 points.
True. Yep.
So
Facts.
He does 2 things for one.
Yeah.
I'm just going to give my quick thoughts in this game.
Yep.
Kuzma started off on fire. He was crazy to start this game, but it felt like everybody was scoring in this game. But credit to him. Kevin Porter Jr., he was really good in this game. Scored 28 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. He was actually named player of the game by the Bucks on by their social media team, so congrats to him. That's not a small token. I mean, that's awesome. And then the last thing I'm going to say, I'm going to talk about Pat Connaughton. He gave good minutes again. He is showing the ability to get downhill, get 2 feet into the paint, and cause havoc. He had one really, really nice pass to Giannis for an easy dunk, and then he had one that was read by the Hawks and a guy who leads the NBA in steals, and he's pretty good at it. So obviously he's pretty smart on defense. He might be Defensive Player of the Year. Dyson Daniels is who I'm talking about for people.
He very, very well might be.
It's going to be him or Draymond. Draymond's shooting percentages are elite. He's holding people like 34% from 3 and like 43% from the field. So
I'm leaning Dyson Daniels just because his deflection totals are like 100 more than the next. Next guy.
I would lead Daniels too, but Draymond Green's having a hell of a year in defense. But anyways, Pat Connaughton he's showing some playmaking ability, showing some slasher ability that people may have thought that he lost, but he was pretty good in this game. But
You want to know something that's
the
gonna
Hawks were just not missing.
Yeah, and we can move to the Suns game as we have this conversation. You want to know something that's gonna really piss some people off?
What's that?
It would not shock me for a single second if Pat Connaughton plays 8 to 10 minutes a game in the playoffs.
It wouldn't shock me either. Wouldn't shock me either. I know that he's not good on defense, but he's giving you pretty consistent offense right now when you're missing Damian Lillard, who was consistent offense. You got to find it somewhere.
And he's still getting rebounds too.
Yeah. Like, and he's still getting hit in the face.
Doesn't get rebounds, and that's why he shouldn't be on the floor. And then you're complaining about Pat Connaughton, who's getting rebounds, and saying he shouldn't be on the floor.
Yeah, right.
Like it is what it is. But honestly, I like what I've been seeing from Pat with the ball in his hands. Like his getting downhill, it's opening things up for other guys. He's still got a connection with Giannis because they've been teammates for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And same goes for Brooke. They've been teammates for 5 years.
Yeah.
So they have the chemistry there. So last night, the Bucks were 17 of 29 from three-point line. That's 58.6%. That is crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Torian Prince was 4 for 5. Rollins was 5 of 7. And Brooke and Gary Trent Jr. are both 2 for 3. This is my point with Ryan Rollins. I think he benefited very much from Giannis's driving. I think he was the biggest beneficiary. Those 7 threes, making 5 of them. A lot of them were open threes.
Yep.
He did make a contested one late in the game that was pretty clutch, which is good for him. I love to see that. It makes me feel better if we get into a situation where Dame does miss the first series. There's confidence building there. Connor said you need that guy who can be a sharp three-point shooter, and it's nice to have a guy who's done it before in the spotlight. Brooke is good, but not a consistent second option. Bobby and Dame are needed back. Not meant as Brooke hate. He can be a good second option some games. I think he's kind of more. Oh, okay. I think he's a good second option when Giannis is off the floor, because this game, the on-off with Giannis was staggering.
Yeah, it was not good.
I know you sent me a screenshot of it, what it was in the third quarter. I want to try and see if I can find the whole game. But when Giannis is out, like, play through Brook Lopez.
Huh?
Like, I have 2 things that I want to show. Play through Brook Lopez. So we're looking at this here. This is Brook gets a back down. And this is another thing that I appreciate about Pat Connaughton. But look how many guys Brook is drawing. It looks like Giannis is the one holding the ball with everybody staring at him.
Mm-hmm.
And Pat Connaughton cuts behind the defense and gets a layup out of it.
Also,
like, Brook can do that stuff.
Also, appreciate the spacing on this play. Everybody did a really nice job. Prince, Kevin Porter Jr., and Gary Trent, they did a nice job making themselves visible for good passes and spacing the floor. That was really nice.
Everybody's rotating. Like, they're giving the same thing. Like, there's going to be plays where this will happen. The defense will collapse, and Pat Connaughton will just turn around and just sling the ball to the corner, and Kevin Porter Jr. is going to be open for a 3. But play through Lopez. He gets an assist on this play. Pat Connaughton, good cut. Like, that's good basketball.
Yeah.
I have another one. Like, this is more of a pick and roll type thing. But, again, when Giannis is not on the floor, like, run your offense with Brook Lopez.
Big Brook.
And the thing is, he gets hit in the head in this play, which pisses me off. And Brook was getting pissed, and he got a technical last night. He got hit like 3 times and did not get any foul calls. He was getting pissed, and he yelled at a ref.
Mm-hmm.
But this is, dude, you said it like 2 games ago. People are not giving Brook Lopez credit for his basketball IQ. This screen and rescreen, and then just taking off and not giving the Suns any time to try to sort this screen out. This is great, and that's a great pass from Kevin Porter Jr.
I also have to say Devin Booker is horrible on defense. He should have rotated over. And very good timing by Kevin Porter Jr. to read what Brook was doing. He slowed down a little bit, which is what we've been talking about literally this entire time. We've been talking about the Bucks and Kevin Porter. Did a nice job slowing down and letting the play develop, man. Nice job, Kevin.
There's no universe where Grayson Allen stands in front of Brook Lopez and stops him from scoring.
I understand that Booker doesn't want to leave Gary Trent Jr., but my guy, you got to get in the paint on this play, dude.
At least put a foot down there.
Come on. He didn't even move, bro. My God. And you wonder why you're never going to win a ring, dude. He's never going to win a ring, dude. He doesn't play enough defense.
Yeah. Okay. So now 12 turnovers in the first half.
Yeah.
10 in the second half. 24 turnovers. They did only allow 26 points off turnovers. The Hawks literally scored 2 more points off turnovers with 10 fewer.
That's wild.
Now, the thing that bugs me about this is the fact that they had 24 turnovers and only 3 offensive rebounds.
Yeah.
On a night where they shot a franchise record 69% from the field and scored 133 points. This is one of those situations where you cut those turnovers in half and you grab, say, 5 more offensive rebounds that you're looking at a game where the Bucks could have scored 150. Based on their efficiency, like everybody was efficient from the field.
Yeah.
Kyle Kuzma was the Bucks' worst shooter last night at 50%.
Yeah, that's
stupid.
That's nuts.
The Bucks were 31 for 47 on uncontested shots. That's 66%.
Nice.
And the Bucks assisted on 62.7% of their field goals. That is excellent work. And the thing is, there needs to be some credit given to Doc Rivers. And shout out to Doc Rivers. He moved to 7th alone all time on the coach's win list. He passed Phil Jackson. So Doc Rivers literally has more wins than Phil Jackson. Now, 2 examples again here. 2 great plays drawn up by Doc Rivers. So this one is going to be a double screen for Kevin Porter Jr., who's going to read this correctly again. And, dude, that's too easy.
Dude, I love the big game. The Bucks.
Dude, and or putting the ball in Brook Lopez's hands again, and good things are happening.
Yeah.
Kevin Porter Jr. reads this correctly, and Giannis gets a free run to the basket because teams don't want Brook Lopez to shoot threes. That is why he's on this team, to spread the floor so there's not bigs camping in the paint. If this was Andre Drummond, Nick Richards is camping his ass in the paint.
Yeah, he don't give a shit
He's not running at Andre Drummond.
No.
He's not running at himself. He's not running at Yusuf Nurkic. He's not running at Robert Williams III, a guy that I wanted even as a backup center. Like, you're not running at Mitchell Robinson. You're probably not running at Domantas Sabonis in this situation. There's a handful of guys that you're going to run out like this at, and it's Jokic, Cat, Brook Lopez, Miles Turner, Anthony Davis. There's few that you're running out to contest this shot.
Yeah.
And that guy not being in the paint, Giannis is about to be the only guy with feet in the paint. If you can create that situation, good things will happen for you. If you can create a situation where Giannis is the only one in the paint, good things are going to happen for you. And again, to your point, Devin Booker, get your ass in the paint.
Yeah, I was getting. Oh, who is that? Oh, yeah. That's Booker. He doesn't want to play defense. That's right.
Honestly, like, just not a shot, but you could probably leave Kyle Kuzma open in this situation.
Dude, if your option is Giannis at the rim or Kyle Kuzma for 3, bro, like, think with your brain for a sec.
Like, Giannis catching the ball in the restricted circle with nobody between him and the rim, that's a great place to be.
I'm actually shocked that Devin Booker even turned on that play. He actually moved a centimeter on that play.
Okay, so there's that one. Then this was just too beautiful not to bring up. This, like, Doc Rivers, I'm giving you some flowers for this one. He calls a timeout after the Bucks force a turnover, which Brook Lopez forced, by the way. He got a poked a ball that went off of Grayson Allen's leg out of bounds.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bucks are up 7, and he draws this up. This is such good basketball. Like, this Mama's the Mia right here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude, this is so good.
Yeah,
that's so good. You have a 3-on-2 with Brook Lopez, Taurean Prince, and Giannis because they're going to trap what their perception is of this inbound. So you have a guy aggressively running towards the ball, and 2 guys go with him. And obviously you're not leaving Giannis by himself, and you have to trail Taurean Prince because he's one of the best 3-point shooters in the NBA.
And Devin Booker doesn't want to move, so just make him guard the inbounder anyways. I have to take a shot on him.
And because you can't leave Giannis, and because you have to trail Taurean Prince, who already made a dagger 3 in this game.
He did.
Brook Lopez gets a dunk. And this should have been a goddamn foul too, because he literally gets hit on the head.
He was trying to foul him, I think.
I think so too. But, like, he literally gets hit. That should be a foul. Dude, like, he's literally chopping him on the shoulder.
Yeah.
That should be a foul. That should be an and one. This dunk should have put the Bucks up 10. They ended up winning by 10 anyways. But had to give credit to Doc Rivers on a night where he came 7th all time in coaching wins. Had some really great plays drawn up.
Yeah.
Again, when Giannis is out, play through Brook. Brook, and this is wild to me, partially because he was the most minutes played in this game, but Brook Lopez traveled the most distance. The NBA tracks distance that guys run during the game. Brook ran 2.63 miles in this game on a basketball court.
I'm so happy you found that, so now I can talk shit to people online. When's the last time you ran 2.63 miles? When's the last time your bitch ass did that? Come on.
Love that. Go run 2.63 miles in 48 minutes or less.
And they want to be like, he's old and slow. I guarantee he's faster than you.
Guaranteed. Not to mention that close. He weighs. Actually, there's probably some people that are complaining about Brook Lopez that weigh 280 pounds, but they're not 7 feet tall.
You're not wrong.
All right.
Don't run 2.63 miles though.
they're definitely not doing that at 280 pounds. Anything else you want to say about last night's game?
Yeah, just wanted to give a little bit of credit. I wrote down for Giannis, I said, man, this guy's too fucking good. For Brook Lopez, I wrote, the man is hooping, give him his flowers. Honestly, I knew you were going to have a little bit of breakdown stuff. So, and then for Ryan Rollins, he had 23 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 80% from the field, 5 of 7 from 3 is elite. Now, obviously, like you said, a lot of that is wide open stuff from Giannis creating, and Brook Lopez obviously creating as well. But for so the Bucks shot 69% from the field, as previously stated. That's the 9th highest field goal percentage by any team in NBA history. There's only one team that's in the top 10 of that list. So the highest is 70%, San Antonio and Chicago. Chicago also has a 69%. The next 10 are between 69 and 68%. There's only one team in that top 10 that shot that and lost, and it's Chicago. So, you guys are losers. Even when you do good, you're not good enough. That's hilarious to me. But Ryan Rollins, he scored 70 points, grabbed 15 rebounds, and had 17 assists this week. He shot 26 of 37 from the field. So he averaged 17.5 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and he shot 70%. If he literally just calms down, he kind of gets caught, I think. This is just what my eyes are telling me. He kind of gets caught every once in a while between, like, am I shooting too much do I need to pass it right now? And he kind of gets caught. And we used to play with a guy named Isaiah Herzog in high school, and he always used to do jump passes. And it was like, stop leaving your feet to pass the ball. That shit makes me so mad. But I mean, honestly, if he just keeps what he's doing, cuts down the turnovers a little bit, and starts taking care of the ball, I mean, he's going to be just fine. He's going to fit right into that backup point guard role when Agent Zero gets back.
So I was hoping to be able to find some on-off numbers for Giannis.
That one that I have is the entire game.
I'll say the one that I saw was just the third quarter.
No, there's one. The one that I sent you is the whole game. It says game plus 28, 27 minutes and 42 seconds. His net rating was 48.2, so he's plus 48.2 with an offensive rating of 151.8, a defensive rating of 103.6. And with him off, he rested for 8 minutes and 18 seconds. The Bucks were plus minus of 16, a net margin of minus 95. They had an offensive rating of 66.7 and a defensive rating of 162.5. That is insanity.
Yeah, that's really bad.
And I've never seen a defensive rating so high in my life.
And I'm going to be honest with you, it's very similar when Brook is out of the game.
Yeah.
Brook came out for a couple minutes stretch, and the Suns got 4 easy chances at the rim. They got 2 offensive rebounds. They got free throws, and they had 2 second chance points. So we need Brook Lopez, plain and simple. There's really no way around it. We need Brook Lopez.
Yeah, I agree. We need to start respecting our boy here.
Yeah. The Bucks play tomorrow at Philadelphia, Saturday at Miami, Sunday at New Orleans, and then Tuesday back at home against the Timberwolves. So some opportunities to maybe go on a little run here, get some momentum with Bobby Portis coming back. I think he'll be eligible to come back on that Tuesday night game. So give Bobby Portis a little homecoming and just get some momentum going into the playoffs here. Next week is going to be our second last week without any playoff games. So we're going to have 2 more weeks of the regular season, and then it's playoff time. So, again, like Jake said, just respect the players, dude. Just cheer for them. Build them some momentum because shit like this needs to stop.
Agreed.
So, yesterday also was Brook Lopez's birthday.
Yeah, man.
So they're playing around in practice, and Brook Lopez in practice. Everybody's having fun. Vibes are good. And what I said to people who were complaining about it is everybody knows when you're in a situation of tension, what you really want is more tension, right?
Yeah.
You ever have a rubber band really tight around something and then try to pull it tighter? What happens?
Snaps.
It snaps. So, in a tense scenario where the Bucks have lost a couple games in a row, we get here. Yeah. Cool. Tell them to rebound. Everything but rebounding. I know just Brooks going to be taking some dumbass shots tonight. What did he have, 22 points last night?
That Fish Middleton guy, fucking terrible account. He's a douchebag.
Rose practicing for the final shot in a big playoff game. I like that one. Time to hang it up. I wish we were winning so I could enjoy this. You don't have to win every single game to be able to have fun. Get in the paint, I'm begging. Please don't encourage this. Nope, no fun. I'm glad there are people actually saying I'm glad they're having fun.
Yeah.
Don't care. We're going into our 3rd postseason not healthy. Okay. Yep, that means don't have fun. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
Maybe you should try to practice post moves and grab a rebound.
Please tell me you're 15 without telling me you're 15. They don't know about Brooklyn Brook, bro.
And again, just the box score, then try to grab a rebound. Please, 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 please just learn ball. And the last thing that we're going to have a conversation on, because this is serious. We're calling somebody out right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this person is ever going to see it. I probably doubt it. But there is a very, very serious conversation that we need to have here. And I know Jake has been on this train for a very long time with this specific person. And this would have been last week that this person again, this is Nathan Marzon. And I don't necessarily like that we're doing this, but again, this is a very serious thing. So we are calling this person out for this, to tweet that I just can't believe how depressed I am watching the Bucks. Like, I almost just want the season to end. I know when the playoffs start, I'll get hyped and just convince myself they can make a run, but the vibe around this team just sucks. So there's several things going on here. First of all, being depressed when watching the Bucks, really, it's basketball. It's a game.
That's crazy, bro. That's fucking
the crazy part to me is saying, like, I almost just want the season to end. That's crazy. I want to watch as many games as possible. Obviously, when we get to the playoffs, I'd rather have them win in 4 than win in 7. But you know what I mean. Like, I want to watch as much as possible. I only get sad when the season ends because it means we don't have more.
Yeah, I don't get to watch Giannis anymore, or Brooke, or James.
And obviously, you'd be the happiest if the season ended in a championship, but we've had this conversation. 31 out of 32 teams in the NFL don't win it all. 29 out of 30 teams in Major League Baseball don't win it all. 29 out of 30 teams in the NBA don't win it all. So you're talking about 3 out of 92 teams win the championship in the major 3 sports. Why are you wanting to cut it short just because you aren't enjoying it?
Yeah.
And Jake, give your thoughts on this, because the last sentence is the one that I am the most passionate about.
Oh, me too. I'm gonna start with the beginning. I just can't believe how depressed I am watching the Bucks. Buddy, I gotta tell you, I take that D word very serious. I know people that live with depression and they're not alive. I'm literally not fucking around right now. I've been depressed in my life. Like, real life, down in the dumps, depressed. You want to know, the only thing that I got to look forward to on those days was watching my favorite sports teams. That's what kept me going every day. Win or lose, I was like, for the next 3 hours, I am happy because I get to watch something that I love. I literally texted my buddy one day and was like, let's start a podcast talking about sports because I love sports that much. Seriously, like, I love doing this. I wish I could do this for 15 hours a day. Every fucking day. I can go live.
I'm the buddy. Hi.
Morning, night, middle of the day, doesn't matter. I wish I could do this all fucking day.
Yeah.
And then he says, like, I almost just want the season to end. That is along the same lines of people that are like, let's trade Giannis and start over. It's the only way to save this franchise. I'm going to tell you something. You were not around before Giannis. I can tell you that right fucking now. You were not around before Giannis. And you were definitely not as big of a fan before 2017.
Yeah.
You didn't live through the days of Charlie Villanueva, Charlie Bell,
John Salmons,
freaking Carlos Delfrino. You didn't live through those. I did. I still had a great time watching the Bucks because they're my favorite team. And the only thing I get to do is when they're on the schedule and they're on television, I get to sit down and I get to cheer for them. Do they make me mad sometimes? Yeah. It doesn't mean I want the season to end or I'm depressed.
Right here, I have a 2006-2007 Milwaukee Bucks schedule.
Dude, I have a fucking team photo from that year, bro.
Dude, the 5 players on the cover of this fucker are Mo Williams, Michael Redd, Andrew Bogut, Charlie Villanueva, and Bobby Simmons.
Oh, man. Bobby Simmons was supposed to be a big-time trade for the Bucks back in the day. Came over from the Clippers. He was supposed to be a big-time trade for us. I bet Nathan doesn't know that, though.
Okay.
Nathan don't know nothing about Bobby Simmons.
The last part of this is seriously the part that I have the biggest problem with.
Yeah, go for it, man.
The vibe around this team just sucks. That is your perception.
Yeah.
Now, the thing that really, really, really bothers me about this is, Nathan, you have 61, almost 62,000 followers on Twitter. You are part of the problem if you think the vibe sucks. You have 62,000 people that follow you and see your opinion. You have a responsibility to those people to not be a piece of shit. You have a responsibility to those people who choose to hit the follow button and take your opinion into their lives. The amount of bullshit that you will see, just that we've shown you today from the last 2 days of Twitter, of seeing people whining, complaining constantly, and you can reach 62,000 of them, and you are choosing to tweet shit like this. You have an opportunity to positively affect change, and you are choosing to do shit like this. You have a responsibility to those people. And I hate to say this because it's rude, but you do not deserve those people following you and appreciating what you do when your attitude is shitty like this. I cannot impress upon you, with as loud as I'm being, how seriously we take the fact that people will follow us, give us their time, take in our opinions, to fill their brains with shit like the vibe around this team sucks.
Yeah.
No, your perception of the vibe around this team sucks. The team themselves look like they're having fun, celebrating people's birthdays, shooting half-court shots because they're playing a game and having fun. It's your perception of the team that sucks, not the team itself.
Yep.
You have a responsibility to the people who follow you to not fill their feeds of their social media with more bullshit that they will see everywhere else. And you have an opportunity to reach 62,000 people. Give me your 62,000 followers. I will make a more positive difference than you.
I will say this. We're not sitting here saying that Nathan doesn't know ball, because I respect his ball knowledge. From strictly just knowing basketball, Nathan knows what the hell he's talking about. But it's bullshit like this that really fucking pisses me off, dude. Maybe your vibe sucks, Nathan. And that's the only thing I ever see from you is you crying like a bitch. Dude, Tyler, I'm sorry. You said I've been on this for years, dude. This just been bothering me for like 2 years, dude. Just crying for 2 years. Imagine waking up in the morning. You have all these followers. You're going to talk about basketball. And instead of just being happy and appreciate what you have, you decide to say the vibes around the team sucks. I could never. If I ever have that opportunity, I will have that opportunity. We will have that opportunity.
Yeah.
When we get this opportunity, we're not going to let it slip. And we sure ain't going to say some bullshit like this.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say before I get real pissed off, bro.
The fact that, like, saying that they look like they've quit, or saying that it's been 6 or 7 years since I've missed a Bucks game and I'm really considering just not watching some of these games down the stretch, it's a weak mindset.
Don't watch them.
And honestly, we'd be better for it, because then we don't have to see your shitty opinions like this.
Yeah.
And again, I'm sorry to be like going at this so personally, but like I said, I feel very, very strongly that when you have a large following, that you have a responsibility to those people. We've had the conversations that the average person sees 8 to 9 negative posts on social media per one positive one.
That's fucking crazy.
And you have the opportunity. 62,000. We are just over 8.
Yeah.
And again, we're not stopping anytime soon.
No.
And we're not gonna like flip on the optimistic and realistic thing and quit doing that. That's not stopping either, because now that we've been doing this for about 3 years, we've seen it like make positive, strides in our daily lives, not just the way that we watch sports.
Yep.
Like, losing doesn't affect us. It really doesn't. Like, we don't want it to happen, but when it does, like, we're cool. And it doesn't make us less of fans. It honestly, it makes it easier to be able to handle losing in a constructive way, not a destructive way.
Yeah.
because it's like I've said, it's made a difference in everyday life, not just as far as watching sports.
1,000%, dude.
And I hope that someday we will have that type of influence, but you have it now, Nathan. You have that type of influence now. Use it for good.
Great.
All right. We will be back Tuesday. We have the next part of our draft series. So that is coming up Tuesday. We are doing defensive line and edge. We will be back again next Wednesday to talk more Brewers and more Bucks. And until then, go Bucks, go Brewers, and join us again for our draft stuff next Tuesday. Connor said I've tried ignoring and not following fans with these type of outlooks at my teams. Connor, I'm glad you found us and you've stuck with us. We appreciate it, and we're glad to see you back and commenting. Steve, you as well. James, good to see you back. Eric, good to see you. James, good to see you back as well. Taylor, always good to see you as well. Again, tell more people about us because this is the type of approach we're going to keep taking. And now, as the Bucks are going into the playoffs and their season, whether they win the championship or eliminated in the first round, their season is 2 months away from being done. And then we're going to be focused more Brewers Central. And then the Packers are going to be coming close to starting, as well as the Badgers football team. So we are always going to have something going on. We cover the 3 pro sports teams in Wisconsin and the 2 major college ones. And if we can get more time, we will do more. Mm-hmm. But that's where we're at right now. And you can get the same type of analysis you will get from us on the Bucks and the Brewers, on the Badgers basketball and football, and on the Packers from the same source, because we do talk about all of them. We are not just a Bucks, we are not just a Brewers, we're not just a Badgers, we're not just a Packers show. We do all of them because we are fans of all of them. So you will get this same consistent mindset, approach, and perspective from us on all of these teams. So stick around with us. We're going to do everything we can to keep growing and keep growing ourselves as people on top of it, and our knowledge of the games, and hopefully can put out more content to help increase our influence that we have. So we'll see you guys next week. Go Bucks, go Brewers, and we'll see you next week.